What is up, everybody? Bandit here. Gonna be playing something new. Gonna be trying out something new. So I just got a new PC a couple days ago and I've been playing some games with my friends, but this is a solo game called Wolf Tales. It looked pretty cool. A friend of mine was looking at it with me, and so he got it for me and sent me the code. Just got done downloading it. It's a visual novel, so if you're not into those kind of things, then this might not be right for you. But that music is pretty awesome. Alright, let's get into it. Start game. Good. I'm glad it didn't actually start. Just to let you know, I don't have a cold, but I have been having allergy problems for the first time in my life. And since we all know allergy medication is like $30 for a little tiny bottle, I cannot afford that. So I may have some sniffles here and there. Character select. We'll go bandit. Oh, you could be a male or a female. Well, I am a male, obviously, so I will go male. Choose your gender and name your character. Yep, bandit, male. What the hell am I supposed to be? Oh, you just hit enter. That was really strange. Oh, that doesn't look good. Oh, am I supposed to hit something? I thought it was going to go on its own. Try to keep the mouse off screen. Yeah, I can use space. I stare at the road before me, which is now barely visible thanks to the flurry of snow. The storm had arrived violently while I was out, and before I knew it, I had gotten stuck in the middle of it. Almost home. My breath is visible in front of me as I creep forward on the snowed-over road. You don't have heat? I guess not. You got gloves on. Even though my heater is on full blast, well, that answers that question. It isn't enough to ward off the freezing cold. I shudder to think of how cold I'd be without it. The sooner I get home, the better. I'd hate to get stranded out here in this. Slowing my truck to a stop in front of the cabin, I turn the key in the ignition and shut it off. The heater immediately stops blowing and I can already feel the chill hit me. Time to brace myself for the freezing winds raging between me and the cabin. Here goes. Nice place. I rush inside as quick as I can, shivering head to toe despite my thick clothing. The moment I slam the door shut behind me, the sound of the wind howling outside quietens. Quietens? Okay, alright. And the chattering of my teeth fills the room. It's warmer in here, but not to the point where I can whimsically toss aside my extra layers and flop on the couch. If I suddenly remove all of my layers right this instant, I'll probably pass out from the change in temperature. Whose idea was it to start living out here anyway? As the sole occupant of this cabin, I expect no response to my rhetorical question. For better or worse, I decide for myself that I would live in these snowy mountains, all on my own. Excuse me 1 second, I'm gonna turn down the, What? Are you No, I don't... Oh, because I hit menu. I'm gonna turn the music... Oh, the music's already down. Turn the music down a little bit. Maybe that was a little too low. It's not always on. That's the kind of weird part. There, that's better. For better or worse, I decided for myself that I would live in these snowy mountains, all on my own. Alright, tea, a bite to eat, and then I'll turn in for the night. In the middle of a snowstorm like this, it's important to keep nourished and warm. Who are you talking to? After reminding myself to adhere to a few basic survival tips, I fill the kettle with water and turn it on. Man, am I glad to have electricity out here. Without ready access to hot water, there's no way I'd survive. I should have enough food to last until summer, too, by which point I'll be able to go into town without freezing to death. Life out here might just work after all. I mean, it's not uncommon for men to decide... Wow. I I mean, it's not uncommon for men to decide to make a go of it on their own, isolated from society at large. It's a weird sentence. I'd found it a relatively easy adjustment to begin living out here, though in my circumstance, this cabin was my only option at the time. Well, it's, you gotta take it. The moment I think so, my body begins to shiver. Of course, I feel cold wind brush up against my cheek, threatening to give me frostbite if I dare to take off my layers. That's weird. It shouldn't be this cold inside the cabin. I know there's a snowstorm out there, but this cabin is pretty well insulated. Curious about the source, also desperate to stop the cold, I walk through the cabin, trying to find where it's coming from. Oh, you got a lot of, like, Native American totems? That's actually really cool. After checking all the windows, I wind up near the back entrance of the cabin, and surely enough, back door is open. Great. I hurriedly clear away the snow at the base of the door, which seems to have stopped the door from opening or closing. I then close the door, lock it, and move a few things in front of the door to prevent it from opening. Even if the lock were to break, that ought to do it. But how did the door get open in the first place? Exactly. Sneaky hobbitses. I could see myself forgetting to lock it, since I'm all done out here anyway, but there's no way I'd forget to close it. Is the latch broken? Forget it. I'll think about it after I've had something warm to drink. I turn away from the door and begin to walk towards the kitchen. No sooner have I begun to move my foot, however, than I realize that the floor is soaking wet. Some snow must have blown in and melted. I guess I better clean this up. No, it was from the dripping clothes of the sneaky fucking hobbitses. Clean this up? My eyes widen as I realize something important. There isn't just one puddle of water. There are several, following a clear, non-linear path. Non-linear? Puddles show me the path of someone or something has taken. Yeah, I told you. An intruder? Maybe a wild animal? Maybe some wolf women? I instinctively grab an axe to oh Jesus, bro. Sorry, buddy, I understand you want to take refuge from the cold, but a guy's gotta protect himself. Axe in hand, I head deeper into the storeroom, prepared to defend myself against a potentially dangerous person or animal that's wandered into my home. Oh, this is about to get crazy. So start swinging that axe around. Moving even further inside, I cautiously move around the table and female with red nose and rather large bosoms freeze. Ha ha ha. Shiver. I don't know what voice to give her. Jeez, I'm so tall and I have such a deep voice, it's hard to give women voices. Oh, that just don't sound absolutely terrible. What the? My arms lose all strength as I stare at the particular sight in front of me. On the floor of my storeroom is a girl. She's shivering, wet, oh god, and her breath, you just had to say that, didn't you? She's shivering, wet, and her breath is ragged. Red-faced, yet blue in the fingertips, the poor girl looks like she's about to freeze to death at any moment. And yet, what attracts my attention is that tail and those ears. I know! She's so good-looking. I'm a by the way, for those of you who don't know, I am a furry, so I would 100% agree with him that she's quite attractive. It couldn't be. Without thinking, I drop my axe to the floor and reach out towards the girl's ears. I gently tug on her ears, trying to pull them off. Such a normie thing to do. Otherwise expose their stitching. However, no matter how hard I pull, there's no sign of it being a practical joke. How did she not smack you in the dick for doing that? As far as I can tell, these wolf-like ears are real. Impossible. She really is a half-human? I don't know about half, more like 80% human. That can't be right. I made absolutely certain that this place wasn't intruding on the domain of any half-humans. Did I make a mistake? What, is there more half-humans in the world? Like that's a normal thing? Nah, shiver. Before I can mull over the girl's presence any further, her whimper brings me back to reality. Right, whatever reason for her presence, it doesn't change the fact that she's freezing to death in my cabin. Well, I don't think she's going to freeze to death at this point, but she's cold. I'll worry about the details later. For now, I have to make sure she doesn't die in my cabin, because I don't have insurance. I grab a towel from one of the shelves in the storeroom and immediately begin to dry the young girl off. The moment I make contact with her skin, I realize just how close to death she really is. Her body is so cold that I can feel it through the towel. Her skin is deathly pale and she can't stop shivering. Maybe she just doesn't get sun like me. Geez, as soon as my body sees the sun, it burns instantly. Desperately, I rub the girl's body, as I'll bet you do, trying to dry both her off and warm her up. However, no matter how much her body moves about, she does not stir. The girl is breathing, but unconscious? Even if I tried to, I don't think I'd be able to wake her up. Shit, this isn't working. I'm gonna have to step things up a notch. Bucket of warm water. Many hours pass as the unconscious wolf girl continues to rest. Dude, you know people can get brain damage by doing that? You're not supposed to let them sleep. Over time, her breathing gradually becomes less ragged and color returns to her skin. The incessant shivering comes to an end. Her lips stop quivering and a faint yet peaceful smile appears on her face. While it's still too soon to rest easy, it seems like the girl is going to be just fine. Phew, I was worried for a while there, but it looks like things have finally calmed down. I guess some dry clothes and a long sleep in a warm cabin were all she needed. Feeling good about myself for having been able to help out, I watch the girl sleep for a while as I contemplate what to do next. The snowstorm has died down now, so I should probably have this girl leave as soon as she wakes up. Though, I suppose I could at least feed her first? I mean, yeah, that would be decent, Bandit, come on. She must be famished after sleeping for so long. Yeah, do you have any raw meat laying around? It would be heartless for me to not at least groan. While I'm in the middle of thinking out loud, the wolf girl finally begins to move. What starts out as a faint groan quickly turns into a visible movement on her part. The girl's eyelids twitch. I can see her lips tremble. In a matter of seconds, she will no doubt open her eyes. Oh, that was quite... The girl's eyes open wide as she starts to gain her bearings. Her eyes dart around the room, trying to fill in the blanks of her memory. Oh, yes, I remember now. I got caught up in the snowstorm, didn't I? I finally found shelter, but I thought my mind was just playing tricks on me as my body started to shut down. Am I really alive? You sure are, at least as far as I can tell. The girl jumps in fright as she finally notices my presence. You are, the girl tries to speak but fails to formulate a proper sentence. With that being the case, I decide to explain the situation to her, giving her time to calm down. I found you in my storeroom, shivering and unconscious on the floor. I dried you off and brought you inside, but it was hard to tell if you were going to survive or not. You know, like a decent human being would to anyone. Your fingertips had already started to turn blue by the time I found you, and your breathing was a complete mess. Listening to my calm explanation, the girl looks down at herself. She pinches her clothing, seemingly surprised at how clean and dry they are. My clothes. Did you? I avert my gaze. Yeah, I did. Before you say anything, it's not like I was trying to peek, okay? Your clothes were wet and you were at risk of freezing to death. I couldn't just leave you like that. Just like me, the girl brushes and looks away. Wolf girl or not, she must surely be embarrassed to have her body seen by a stranger, a human male no less. Rather than adopt an expression of anger, however, thank you. Huh? The girl forces herself to look at me at once. With eyes filled with sincerity, she continues to speak. I'm a trespasser. I broke into your cabin, intruded in your home, and dared to use your shelter as my own. Yet, despite all of that, you went to such lengths for me? Oh, yeah, I guess you could look at it that way. It really isn't that big of a deal, though. You were caught in the middle of a snowstorm. If I were in your situation, I would have broken in too. Besides, all I did was dry you off and clean your clothes. It's really nothing major. Once again, like a decent human being would do for anyone. I say this over and over again. Sorry, let's continue. It is something major. If you hadn't taken pity on me, I would have... Before the girl could finish speaking, she's interrupted by the sound of the kettle whistling. Ah, breakfast is ready. Excuse me for a moment. I move away from the girl and head towards the kitchen. Once I set foot in front of the kettle, I grab an additional ceramic bowl for my guest since she has now woken up. Breakfast? You mean to say that it is now morning? That's right. You were asleep for a solid 12 hours. After emptying 2 packets of instant noodles, one into each bowl, I pour in the boiling water. Then I place a fork in each bowl and bring them back into the living room, careful not to let the water spill over the sides. Alright, here you go. Make sure to give it a few minutes to cook before you eat it. As I set a bowl down on the table in front of the girl, she stares at it quizzically. Eat this? What is this? Some kind of soup? Kind of. They're instant noodles. All you need to do is put the noodles in a bowl, add hot water, and wait for a couple of minutes. And they're delicious, by the way. They're quick, easy, warm, and quite tasty. Yes, I just said that, and they are quite tasty. I begin to stir my noodles around with my fork as I speak. Watching me carefully, the girl hesitantly picks up her fork, stares at it for a moment, then mimics my actions. Yeah, that's good. Just like that. You've got to stir them up a little so the flavoring is distributed. The flavoring. Oh my god, she said exactly what I just said. The flavoring? It adds additional flavor to the otherwise bland noodles, also known as salt, for all of you who are not aware. Have you ever eaten instant food before? The girl shakes her head. I'm familiar with many aspects of human culture, including some of which are respective... Oh, I'm sorry, I've been reading this wrong. I'm familiar with many aspects of human culture, including some of which respective races do not share. Our respective races do not share. Even so, instant food is an entirely new concept to me. Is that right? I stare at the girl in partial surprise as she responds with unexpected eloquence. Far from my mental image of half-humans being savages, this girl seems to be more human than wolf. Like I said, 80% human. Oh my goodness, I just realized something. I've been preying on your kindness, yet I haven't even given my name or asked for yours. Oh, yeah, I guess you're right. Doesn't really matter, though. It's not like you'll be staying. I am Mirari. Mirari. Yeah, I guess how you say it. I'm Mirari. My pack resides on the other side of this mountain. I was away from the pack when the snowstorm hit, and I wound up being unable to return to them. Thank you again for taking Thank you again for taking care of me. Speaking almost too quickly for me to understand her, Mirari introduces herself in a panic. She takes a few quick breaths immediately afterwards, then finally begins to calm down once again. Pleased to meet you, Mirari. My name is Bandit. I've been living in this cabin by myself for... Bandit! Yes. Bandit, 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 bandit. Okay, that ought to do it. Oh, God. Do what exactly? Oh, my apologies. I didn't mean to interrupt. Human names all sound so strange to me. That's not a human name. That is a animal name. Never mind. If I don't repeat them out loud, they're too difficult to remember. Oh, I see. And with that, we're gonna end the episode here. We met one of the wolf girls, Mirari. I'm assuming there is a second or possibly more. There's 2 on the title screen, so, we know there's at least 2. So that's going to be it for this one. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, leave a like down below. I'll see you in the next one. Deuces.